That's
What
that's that
up,
do-
man?
that's that Domino remix. What's good with you, brother?
Domino remix. I'm doing all right. We good. Episode 5, talking crazy with our man A-Plus, Souls of Mischief Hieroglyphics. My name is Tamal, and yeah, we missed last week.
Yeah. We missed last week. I don't know what happened with the counting of the weeks or whatever, man. And yeah, it was just one of those weeks, man. And I'm good. It's good to be back though. I'm happy. I'm happy we're here, man. How you feeling, bro?
I'm all right. I'm good.
Yeah,
I'm
word
good.
up, word up, man. It's
Um,
good to see, man.
yeah, no doubt. It's good to see you as well. Life happened. That's what happened last time. Life happened, man. And it's funny, we both missed it. I'm like, but I could have sworn like it was this week though. I mean, that's what I was.
Yeah, that was
So
my thing. That was my thing too. I think the first Monday just happened super early in the month, and
yeah,
yeah, just little mistake there, but no harm, no foul. Here we go. Here we are, brother.
it's all good.
Yes,
So yeah,
sir.
we're gonna get into it. So this is episode 5 of Talking Crazy, our monthly show on mental health. Two friends just chopping it up, talking, sharing experiences, and trying to learn, trying to grow, trying to help some people. As we always say, take what you want, leave the rest. Why don't
Yeah.
you tell them what the show is not?
What this show is not is we're not doctors. We're not diagnosing people. We're on a path just like everyone else. We're learning as we go. We're not better than anyone else. We're certainly not perfect. We're here talking about like our mistakes as well as things that we've learned along the way from those mistakes. So we just didn't get the idea that we're here. We're just two brothers uh, trying to break the stigma and have the conversation.
Right, and this.
Regarding mental health awareness and mental health and not only just the hip hop community, but in people of color in general.
Yeah, just people in general, men,
Yeah,
like males, like we don't talk about stuff. I mean, just people, like, just talk about it, man. Like,
yeah,
let's
yeah, yeah.
just,
Real spill. Like I guess I say people of color because I am one, but you're right. Yeah,
oh, of
we're
course. I mean,
definitely just anybody is welcome in this conversation, not just
yeah,
people of color. And yeah, man, just because mental health is just something that we live in this bonkers ass world where we're the veil's getting lifted on all kinds of stuff, and people who feel like quote unquote crazy, you know you're not really all that crazy, man. Like not crazier than just how shit is in general, and what is called the norm out here is really some crazy shit. So anyway, nice
right.
intro.
And let's keep it on it. I mean, we speak from our experience. And so in the past, we've definitely mentioned as far people of color being a it being a focal point just because in our communities, Black, Latino communities, or whatever, it's frowned upon to talk about this stuff. It's highly frowned upon, and so this is who we are. But so it's going to speak for that. But this is obviously for everybody. We're all dealing with all this types of stuff, and coming from our experiences and stuff like that, whatever um, things that we feel relevant, and a couple of ground rules. It's a structured build, so like we're looking at the comments, but it's ideal to use the questions feature below. That way, if it's relevant to what we're discussing, we can pull it up. And this is a pretty structured thing. So talking about like when you saw A on tour in '95 or some shit might not be the most appropriate at the time. So we're gonna get into it though. The tonight's topic is guilt. It's a fun one.
Guilt, and this is episode 5. So if you want
Episode
to
5,
see
and as
past
always,
episodes,
all of these are up on our YouTube, on both of our respective YouTube channels, I believe. So you can check out the
yes,
other ones. So
word up.
yeah, episode 5, talking crazy, guilt, and
Guilt, that's
it's a
yeah, it's a
weird
good
one.
one.
It's a weird one, right?
It
Because
is.
um, it's like it's typically looked at as negative for the most part, and there's a lot of negative stuff that comes with it. So I mean, I had some talking points, obviously, but um, it's hard to process, right? I mean, like what do you do with that? So I don't. Let's just jump into it. So,
Okay.
um, what do you do when you feel guilty about something?
when I feel guilty about something, well, me personally, I don't like feeling guilty about things. I don't like that feeling. I've lived most of my life. I've been the kind of person that, like, when I do something fucked up that I feel guilty about, I'm quick to getting it off my chest and quick to, like, trying to get to some kind of atonement and accountability, whatever the word you may want to use. I just don't like sitting around with any kind of feeling of guilt. I remember that reminds me like in East Oakland back in the day. I remember I had a stepbrother. He was kind of like a hardcore dude. He was a cruel motherfucker sometimes, and I remember he uh he was just, I don't know, he was my big brother, but he just was a wild dude, you know what I'm saying? So I remember one time we were in the backyard and he lit some moths on fire, right? He grabbed a moth and he lit the wings of the moth on fire. And, like, I kind of just had to go along with shit because I was a little dude, you know what I'm saying? And he was big brother. He'd, like, punch me if I didn't go along with some shit. And then I remember just being mad, sad that we had that he had lit this moth on fire, man. And I started crying and shit, and I felt guilty as being a part of that shit, not saying nothing. So I buried the ant in a little, the moth in a little uh, uh, plant cup. You know what I'm saying? It already had dirt in it that didn't have no plant, and I made a little makeshift cross on it with some sticks and shit, and was like crying and shit. And I remember even my older stepbrother, he even cried a little bit just because of the whole get down. But that just kind of demonstrates what kind of kid I was, man. If there was anything fucked up that I had on my shoulders at all, I would try to get that shit off and be like, I'm sorry about that. You know what I'm saying? Or that was wrong of me. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I've always felt with guilt. Now, I know everybody deals with the shit differently, but I just say that as a premise to how I've generally dealt with guilt growing up. And that goes up into the teen years and stuff. You know what I'm saying? When I did stuff as a teen, I felt bad about it. I was known to, like, go to the fellas and be like, yo, man, I feel mad horrible about this shit, man. What should I do? You know what I'm saying? I need to, like, so that's just kind of been my demeanor, man. And like, friends and fam can vouch for that stuff. Like, I literally have came to the fellas and be like, yo, I don't know how I feel about this thing I did, man. And da 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 da, because I just don't like that kind of shit. Again, people are built differently. Some people will call that soft. I don't think it is at all. I call it integrity. But everybody's different.
Well, that's great. You kind of skipped. Is an interesting way you kind of skipped to the end. Is like, because I wanted
Sorry,
to
sorry
discuss.
about that, bro.
No,
Sorry about
it's
that.
dope. Like, in terms of how to manage, yo. Like, because I mean, like, there's a whole bunch of, obviously, guilt has a lot of different branches and aspects to it. But, like, in terms of handling it, because I asked you, I said, what do you do? So, like, you don't even. So for you, I mean, you try not to let it get to a point to where it's like eating you up, and that's a good thing, because one of the points I had on here was just that, like, you know people a lot of times, so I used to do it in the past, but we will destroy ourselves, right? Like, for the most part, nobody can beat us down more than we can beat ourselves down. So,
Facts.
and so, like, guilt sometimes will just, it's a maddening thing. So, I mean, yeah, I wanted to
Yeah.
point that out. It's
Not
you tear you apart.
100%. 100%. And I must say that I didn't say all that to say that I'm perfect, because even there's been times in my recent life to where I just felt mad guilty about some shit that I just felt like I had to just say. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, it could, and because for that very reason that you just described, it was bothering me on the inside and stuff, and skewing how I was looking at other shit. You know what I mean? Like putting the edge on how I was perceiving everything just because of carrying all this specific guilt around, and yeah, it's a trip. It's not a good feeling to have. On the flip side of that, I'm hardcore on not feeling any kind of guilt at fucking all about something that I didn't do or something that I don't feel was wrong. You know what I'm saying? So there's a flip side to everything. If I
Nor
did,
should you. I mean,
yeah,
nor
yeah,
should you. You
yeah, what?
shouldn't. And
I mean, I'm hardcore with it too. I'm like, fuck that shit. Nah, I ain't got nothing to do with that.
yeah,
Because
we're gonna.
if I did, if I would say something, you know what I'm saying? I ain't got no problem with that, owning up to my own shit. But I'm not carrying nobody else's bullshit.
Right. We're going to talk about that, the guilt tripping thing in a minute. But, like, so, like, it's kind of crazy, though, because when you look at the whole thing, as somebody said, yeah, we're our own worst judges. So what tear ourselves apart? But then, so my question is, so what you're talking about is you typically, if you feel some guilt, it's not even feel guilt. You feel responsible, accountability. You feel a need to make up for that. Like you said, atone for,
It
make
feels,
that,
yeah, yeah.
make it right.
It feels bad, and I don't want that on my jacket. You know what I'm saying? I want who I actually am to be represented for real. And it's kind of hard when I'm like, I know there's some bullshit I got. You know?
Yeah. So then some would say, though, I mean, I'm just putting it out there. Some would say, because you've heard this before, right? I mean, maybe somebody might even say this to you. Oh, you're just saying you're sorry. Like, what do you say if somebody says, "Oh, well, you're just saying you're sorry, so you don't feel guilty no more"? I mean, some people look at it as like a negative thing, like
Um,
that you're not really being, you're not really sorry sincerely. It's just that you don't want to feel bad, so you're shit. You just want, so you just want to get your hands clean, and you know what I'm saying? I've heard.
yeah, I mean, I hear that. It's kind of like a dual thing. It's like, yeah, I feel bad because I did some fucked up shit, and I don't want to feel bad no more, so I'm gonna own up to it. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, but it's not just so I feel better. I mean, but yes, part of it is so I feel better. I mean, come on now, you know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck? You know, if I didn't feel bad about it at all, I wouldn't be saying shit. You know, so I guess that's just somebody trying to ride it. Like, oh, you know, like I don't get that so much that like you're just now it's different. Okay, it's different if somebody just got busted and now you coming clean and like now you sorry. You know what I'm saying? And like on whatever it may
Right.
be. Well, now if you get
Right.
caught, then I could feel somebody being like, oh, now you just saying it because you got caught. Man, on that same note, a motherfucker got to be kind of like, yeah, well, I am. You know what I'm saying? I got caught. But my difference is. my difference is I be trying to say shit before there's any caught to it to negate that shit. Like, you
Right.
know what I'm saying?
And that's where, like, so that's the thing, we just talked about guilt being used like three different ways. So that's almost like where guilt is being used as a weapon, right? Like so we were saying somebody's guilt tripping you, or someone's trying to. So let's say, okay, you went. That's some fuckery. So when you think about it, right? What I just asked you, me and you got an issue, right?
Word.
And then I'm like, yo, that was fucked up, son. You did that shit. That was some foul shit. Fuck, fuck out of here, whatever. Then later we talk, like, yo, more like, I'm saying, feel bad about that shit. My bad, fam. Whatever, you know what I'm saying? Can we do whatever? Like, let's make this shit straight. And I'm like, nah, you just trying to do that because you feel guilty. You know what that is? That's just me wanting to just drag it out a little bit extra to fucking turn the
Yeah.
wrench to make you feel a little bit worse. So I know you fucked up, but now I just want to twist it a little bit and say, no, I'm not going to accept your shit just yet. Let me let you grovel a little fucking bit to fucking. That's what I feel where that might come from, man. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah. I mean, no doubt about that. I mean, but that brings up a situation to where like, you know, the person, I guess I'm that person in this situation. I'd have to be like, well, listen, I said it, I got it, and I'm in. I can't say fuck you then for feeling that way, or else that means my shit wasn't genuine, right? So I'd have to be like, well, listen, that's your take on it. I'll be here if you ever feel different. I'm really sorry, brother, but I gotta understand that you feel that way, and I gotta respect that you feel that way. I can't do no more than what I've done,
Yeah.
and we'll see. You know, hopefully time heals this. You know,
Right.
but
So
yeah,
it's
that's
like I
how
said, yeah. So I said I'm sorry. I meant it.
word.
Rest is on you now. Like, you know what I mean? I'm not gonna sit here and
Word.
fucking kiss your
And
ass.
you can't really like hold it above somebody's head. There's people who do that shit too. Well, fuck, I said sorry. Why you still mad? You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
there's that. But you know, I think that's some fuck shit too. I think like, listen, if there's a reason you feel like saying sorry, that means that you understand why that motherfucker would be upset. So it's like, listen, man, if you could accept my apology or not, I really hope you do it one day. If you don't, I totally understand it, but I'm not gonna get all raw. Well, fuck you then now, because that just negates the whole sincerity of my whole apology or my whole atonement or whatever it is. So it people are different. This is just how I prefer to do shit. But I've seen this on every end, and I'm pretty sure I've been petty like that before too. Been like, man, fuck your apology. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, at times in life, prior, you know, but the whole point is we're trying to grow, right? We're trying to
Yeah.
grow. We're trying to identify these things. So now in life, being at this age or this level of life experience, I would definitely, I mean, I ain't gonna lie, man. If you know, I don't know. I guess it's situational because there's, you know, I'm not 100% all the way where I need to be. So there's some shit that like a motherfucker would have to wait for me to feel like the apology was good for a while, you know, especially if it's been like, I don't know. If it seems sincere, I'm gonna take it. If it don't seem sincere, I might need some time to like pray on it, or think on it, or meditate or whatever. You know, who knows? Who
No, it
knows?
makes
It's
sense.
circumstantial.
I mean, every situation is different. I mean, so here's the thing: there's like the overall behaviors, and then you try to apply those behaviors or try those apply those tools and tactics, you know, situationally, right? And
Right.
but every situation is different. I mean, so you know, we just looked at like three different things where one minute somebody's like the thing when you brought up about being sorry, like the person was like, "Oh, well, I said I'm sorry." Like, you know, people be on fuck shit no matter. And that's the thing, when people can take words and do what they want with them, and those people, you know, sometimes people, if you're not smart, you're not paying attention, people will, you know, be twisting shit around, and so that's really what that is
Yeah.
on both sides, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know, we're dealing with, you know, we're humans, and so this, all of these different variable, different ways things can happen. You know.
Right, right, and that's the thing. So there's a lot of, like I said, there's a lot of variables.
Tangents, variables, pathways, responses, uh, the whole get down. I mean, we're unique, complex creatures.
Right,
Mm.
right. So then, all right, where does to me there's a fine line between feeling, because we said like I know people that are like right now like riddled with guilt for stuff, and but not necessarily because we're talking about guilt for stuff we've actually done. You know, sometimes people are bring on clouds of and heavy boulders of guilt for no reason, like, and they're owning something that, you know, either somebody's put on them or they maybe put on themselves, Phil. So I want to talk about that too, because it's not always like you
Yeah,
did something. Sometimes you're carrying around some shit that you really, really need to release.
yeah, no, that's a fact, man. I remember I mentioned it a few episodes back because it's fairly recent. Is that I had this car wreck. I smacked my car up, right? You know what I'm saying? And of course I was 100% sober because I don't drink anymore. But I felt mad guilty about this wreck that just happened out of nowhere. You know what I'm saying? I'm a real good driver. My first wreck ever. Uh, and it was like I was looking at the wreck like, damn, I could have died in that wreck. It was a bad wreck. You know what I'm saying? I smacked my car up like a pole fell, crushed the roof on the car. I mean, it was bad, dude. And the police were like, and the police and the ambulance pulled up. The police had to drive me home. It happened not too far from my crib. And the police were like, I was like looking at my car like, fuck, man, fuck. And they were like, bro, stop tripping off your car. You are lucky to be alive, yo. You are like, you walking away from this. Like, people don't be walking away from shit like this. So from that day after that, I started having these guilt from the car wreck. I kept taking it back to the car wreck. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it was really, like you said, it was some other shit in my head, but the car wreck and the mortality of it, and the looking at the potential loss of mortality because of the car wreck was just triggering the guilt, as if it was the car wreck that was the real guilt. You know what I mean? And it turned out to ended up being some other shit in my head that was just brought out and triggered by almost fucking dying. That was just like, I gotta get this off my fucking chest. You know what I'm saying? Like, but yeah. So I did. I went to talk to the person. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't wasn't nothing like mad horrible. It was just like when you look at your life could have ended, it makes you look at all things hereafter a little bit different. You know what I mean? So that's just an example of that kind of guilt that you just brought up. It's like sometimes you just got something in your head and something else brings it. That's been sitting there for man long, and something else,
Yeah.
something else seemingly completely unrelated, like fucking almost dying in a car wreck, brings the other thing to the forefront. Like, I was like, if I'd have never died, I mean, if I'd have never lived, I would have never had a chance to be like, I felt bad about doing that shit. You know what I'm saying? or like
Yeah.
what it was, you know.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not trying to I'm not gonna say what it was because it was mad private and with another person, but it wasn't nothing horrible. It wasn't nothing illegal. It was just like something I shouldn't have. Something I shouldn't have, an untruth I told to a close friend, you know, not even an untruth like a lie. It was like just an avoidance type lie, you know what I mean? And once I narrowed it down that that's what was bothering me, and it was literally all triggered by this fucking car wreck, the guilt of the car wreck and surviving it, because I was like looking at the wreck like, damn man, like fuck, I could be dead, you know what I'm saying? Like just on some stupid shit, you know, I'm just kind of lost control and just backing, you know what I mean?
That's
So yeah,
crazy.
yeah, man. So that goes to your original point about could just be something else completely in your head that you just gets brought out somehow. You know what I mean?
Right. Right. So there's that angle.
Yeah.
Then there's the, you know, we've kind of seen it in the movies where like the child is around when the parent dies, and then the other parent blames the child for the death or somebody, you know, some
Oh
fucked
yeah.
up shit. And you place that blame and guilt into somebody's character, like the Lion King shit.
Yeah.
You know, like that type of shit, you know, like where somebody's put some guilt on you, maybe as a young child, and you don't have the skills yet as an adult to stand up for yourself, or the, you know, the
Absolutely.
ability,
Absolutely,
and
bro.
they place that on
Absolutely.
you.
Like on
You
that
know what I'm
note, man,
saying?
I went
So,
through that in my own. I went through that in my own life. Like growing up, for a part of my life, growing up I grew up in a household that so I excelled at school. That's how I got the name A-Plus. I was a smart kid, you know what I'm saying, for whatever. And I just did good at shit. But I lived in an environment to where the motherfuckers was like, oh, you think you all that? And like, you know what I'm saying? Oh, like, nigga, y'all okay, straight A's over here. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I was a kid around that shit. So I was like, mad confused about like, why, like, but again, you know, you're a kid and don't really know how to navigate them kind of situations, right? So then, as a teenager, I started experiencing the same shit because I always been a real pleasant dude, and I started experiencing that like I'd have homies and shit that I hate because the nigga was good at something, or a nigga just made this dope beat, or like did something like this or whatever, and then it turned me into a motherfucker that was like when I got to start being a late teenager and an early adult. I was like, man, fuck y'all. You know what I'm saying? Fuck any of y'all. I mean, I kind of just went hard left on the shit. Like, listen, man, you a big ass, a tremendous ass hater if you literally hating on a motherfucker doing well. You know what I'm saying? Fuck you and you know what I'm saying? And I'm just now getting some of that out my system now. You know what I'm saying? Because like I was like, I'm not a kid no more. I don't gotta take y'all hater ass bullshit no more. You know what I'm saying? And so that yeah, again to build on the example that you gave. Yeah, I grew up in a house. I mean, I had motherfuckers that would like I had siblings that'll like break my shit and hide my shit. I had a stepmom who used to throw my awards away and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, my valedictorian awards and shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like good shit. And niggas, and I remember getting in trouble for laughing at motherfuckers who got in trouble because I did everything. You know what I'm saying? Like it'd be my siblings around the house and they'd all like fucked up, you know what I'm saying? Didn't do their shit. And I'd be like, ha ha. And then I'd be getting in trouble, like, oh, see, now you're laughing, antagonizing them. Da 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 da. So I grew up in that kind of environment, you know what I'm saying? And like, so when I became my own person as a teenager and as an early adult, I was like, man, it shaped a lot of who I am. I'm like, fuck all people like that. Fuck people who do shit like that and champion all people who doing the right fucking thing. You know what I'm saying? That shit shaped my whole persona. You feel me? To the point where it actually is, again, are issues I'm dealing with now in life trying to shed that shit. You know what I mean? Because the resentments from those kind of situations haven't served me well. It don't serve me well anymore at this stage in my life.
right, but it's something that you have to work through because that's some heavy shit you just laid on me. And I know in that 2 minutes, that's like a fucking abridged version. So like, fuck, nigga, like,
Yo, man, I could tell you horror stories, man. There was
yo,
times when I didn't get good sleep because I snored, and if I snored my sleep, I just get waken up by a punch, my nigga. For real. You know what I'm saying? So I make this pound of clothes, this pile of clothes on the bed, and I'd sleep on that motherfucker like this, like for like a few years straight in elementary school, bro. Like trying not to fall asleep and shit. You know what I mean? Like For real, bro. I can tell. I mean, I got horror stories, bro. But again, I'm above that and past that. Like, you know, people be fucked up, but I'm not a fucked up person, so I'm not gonna sit and tear nobody else down for some shit I got past. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, and salute for coming out of that, because that's some ill ass shit you just named right there, man. Like, and so hats off to you for like,
Yeah, well, the
yo, that
dude who
makes
did
me,
that,
yo,
the
that makes
dude who
me
did that,
angry, yo. That
the
makes
dude
me
who did
angry
that,
right
he's a
now.
straight loser and shit. No, I have no harm against him and shit. See, he ain't know no better, and he been on the run. Like, he can't even come to Oakland. You know what I'm saying? People want to kill his ass out here. So yeah, that's my stepbrother.
No, I was just saying, like, that shit just makes me angry to hear it be like, so, you know, it's hard to
I
hear
was
that shit.
I was very angry for mad long, and you know, probably still am. And some, you know, I mean, it's so that's why we're here talking about it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh
Like,
yeah,
that's
son.
why we're here talking about it, man. Because I always just wanted to be a pleasant person anyway. That's why I react so viscerally to negative bullshit. Like, I react badly to it. I don't want to be around that shit. I don't want to entertain that shit because I don't have to no more. You know what I mean?
Right, right. I always say that. I mean, we're kind of, you know, we're going where we go with it. Let's get a little organic here, but you always say, like, as I've got each day I get older, I wake up, right? I just be like, you know what? I don't gotta take nobody's shit today. Nobody. Nobody. Now my fucking job. Yo, I mean, I had a situation where I held it down on my job, yo, and like they couldn't fire me after I like it was like some insubordination shit supposedly. But I wrote this like crazy like letter documented shit down to like the minute and stuff, like in terms, and it just broke their ass down, like just broke them down, just barred them out, and fucking. And then when we went to the HR meeting, I was like, yeah, I'm not signing that. I was like, you can sign this though. I can add this to the file or whatever. I was like, but I'm not signing that. I said, that's not how it went. And so they sat there and read this shit, and they were like just like they didn't know what the fuck to say because they couldn't let me go and nothing. They know I do a good job, so it's just like misunderstanding type shit. Yeah, it's a misunderstanding, motherfucker. You forgot who the fuck you fucking with. Like that's what it is. So. Yeah, man. But bottom line is, we do not have to take anybody's shit, man. And that's where like you were going with it. Like I realize that more and more each day. Like, and it's a freeing feeling, man, to really, even at the job, because I fuck a job, yo. My dignity, and that's what I told him. I said my dignity, and I'll tell you more detail about it because it was about some mental health shit. They I didn't attend the meeting because it was like. Somebody was going to say some shit publicly about me, and I, in the meeting, bring up some stuff that we talked about privately, and I asked them not to do that. One of the leaders of my job, and I was like, "Please don't do this. We already discussed it," but they were going to bring it up anyway. So I said, "I'm not going to be in that meeting." So then I got in trouble for insubordination, and so then I was like, "Oh no!"
Wow. Oh, that's gaslighting
Right,
like a motherfucker.
right. So then I said, "Look," I said, "You know, I've never been." I said, It's not about the meetings, this and that. I said, you know, and I had told him like 3 or 4 times. I told him why I couldn't come. I didn't just not show up. I said, I can't come. I said, this is really affecting me negatively. I said, a lot of anxiety about it. I said, I can't make this. I said, this is not going to work, you know. And she just, you got to be there. So, you know, that's
Wow.
where it came from. And so then I'm like, you know, the final sentence I said to my shit was like, you know, you guys know I'm a good employee, a solid employee. I said, but my mental health and integrity will always remain paramount, or something like or above any work mandate. You know what I'm saying? And I told him in the meeting, I said, yeah, it wasn't insubordination. I said, but I said I'd do it again. I said, just if you know, just so we're clear, if it's the situation, I said, hopefully you never have to have this situation where I have to make that decision. I said, but I would do it again. And that was, it's like what? You know what I
Yep.
mean? I was ready to walk away, ready to fucking go on unemployment, man. But you're not
Like
gonna
like
fucking, you
you
know what I
said
mean?
it.
So
You said it. Dignity, man. Dignity and integrity, and you were vindicated on top of all of that. But like, you know, like that shit. That shit matters more than like, you know, there are people who keep jobs and lose their dignity and lose their integrity. And like that is supposed to be like that job is supposed to be more important than your spirit, like than your soul. You know what I mean? And I mean, people do it all the time. I see people like doing, like they caught in this world. Like I gotta do this. This is just the way of the world. This is just how it is. One of the biggest statements I hear people say to cap that shit off is like, "Hey, it is what it is." You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, it ain't. No, you agreeing to that shit because you soft. You know what I'm saying? Like you trading in your integrity for some carnal shit. You know what I'm saying? And yeah,
Right.
it's a trip how often that happens. I mean, you could just look around. I was watching this ill ass documentary today about this TV personality in Europe for mad years. He's like a dude who was on TV and he was down with the Queen and down with Prince Charles and all of this shit. And for like 60 years he had just been molesting motherfuckers at children hospitals for like 50, 60 years, bro. Like and it's and people were just kind of like there was mad enablers along the way. You know what I'm saying? And this motherfucker got
Always.
knighted by the Queen and was hanging out with the Rolling Stones and the Beatles and shit. And then he died at like 85 or some shit. And all of a sudden, like 400 motherfuckers all came out like talking about it, like allegations and shit. But there were allegations before he died, but they kept getting brushed off by the police and brushed off by the press, and because everybody just loved this guy and all of this shit. But he was a sick bastard, man, and it's a trip. I mean, I don't know what made me even think about that, but it's just that you know, people just letting bad behavior happen around them, and because of their job. That's what it was. It was because like there was mad people that was like, how could I have been so naive? Motherfucker, you knew what the fuck was up. You just wanted that paycheck. You felt like protected as protected as he felt, and you know, it's real sick people out there in the world, man. I can't
Yeah.
remember the name of the documentary. I just watched it like half of it yesterday and the other half today. It was, man, motherfuckers are sick, bro. Sick. Anyway, tangent,
Guys,
man. You know how I do it.
nah, dude, that's all right. It's all good. That's what we do. And it's just where it goes is where it goes. And people, you know, we need to say what we need to say. And, you know, but you had brought up a really important point, though, just about standing up for yourself and really just, you know, you grew through a lot of shit, man. And so, you know, and we talked about just basically, yeah, you don't have to take other people's shit. So, yeah, the show's about guilt. But listen, man, we, like you said, people stay in jobs, relationships, and oh, I can't move. What the fuck you mean you can't move? You know, like some of these decisions may be difficult. Like you may have to plan. Damn, you got to plan this out a little bit. But yo, you know, I hate hearing that shit, man.
Yeah.
Yo, like you rather go to work every day and get mentally beat down for fucking however long, and fucking than to get out of that shit. You know, you can't. So it's hard,
Yeah.
man, and that's why. But that's where I struggle with like being compassionate sometimes towards people when I hear that mentality, because I'm like, I'm not wired like that. So I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, but it's a challenge sometimes. So, and that's where that guilt though. Going back to the whole shit, that's where that guilt can just weigh us down though, like weigh people down, and they just feel like, you know, for instance,
Mm-hmm.
that person holding down that job, you know, might. There's people that feel guilty about leaving their employers, like that, like thinking they fucking their employers over, even when their employers obviously don't give a shit about you. But you know, that's another story. So it's weird, right? But there's people that really feel guilty about like leaving
Yeah.
their
I mean,
employers.
I've been there in my own sense, man. Like I've been like in situations to where like, yeah, man, not wanting to leave a situation because I was thinking that like in my own mind, like didn't want to leave for my own reasons, but wasn't looking close enough to the fact that it was hadn't accepted fully that it was unsustainable staying. You know what I'm saying? And so I could kind of get it. And you know, for me, it's like a lifelong of work. But it's for me, I'm talking about like the music business. You know what I'm saying? Like, uh, man, you know, you kind of don't want to you don't want to leave anything that you just been a part of for so long that you built. You know what I'm saying? And then at the same time, it's like, what is it that, what exactly are you not leaving? You know what I'm saying? So I guess it's a little bit different, but I get it. I get those kind of situations. And it's not fun to be there. And there's a lot of guilt, of course, in there. Like, don't want to leave, but hey, man, at a certain point, you just want to survive though. Like, you like, you know, things come to a point to where like, man, am I going to be better or worse for saying like literally fuck all the emotions about it? You know what I'm saying? Is it like, is my actual life, which matters more than any particular thing that I could be involved in? You know what I'm saying? Is it better or worse depending on this level of connectivity? You
Right,
know what I'm
right.
saying? And that's a personal thing for everybody in every situation, right? Because they're all different. You know what I mean?
It's true. It's a personal thing, but to keep it 100, we know within seconds. And if we're really honest with ourselves, and if we do a really serious gut check, we fucking know.
Yeah.
There's no debate. 9 times out of 10, we know the right thing to do in the situation. Yo, whether we choose to
Yeah.
do it or not is a different story.
But
We
that's
know.
that goes back to that thing we always talk about, that honest conversation. Like if we really have that honest conversation with ourselves, yeah, we know it's difficult though. It can be difficult, but yeah, if anyone is to have that real conversation with themselves, they will see very clearly that like what's good and what's not for them. There's just so many layers of bullshit on top of people's experiences. Um, whether it's emotional, whether it's like childhood, whether all people got all different reasons why they stay in bad situations or stay in unhealthy or toxic situations. But yeah, that real conversation never lies to a motherfucker. Like the truth is always, if something's bad for you, we can deflect all we want. It does not change the real truth that like this shit ain't cool for you, and it doesn't get better. If it don't get better, it doesn't get better. You know what I mean?
And you once you're gonna have that honest conversation with yourself, you may not like the result of that conversation, and that's when you
Mm-hmm.
decide to say, okay, I know this is what I should do, but fuck it, I'm gonna go do this. I know I'm on this diet, but I'm gonna go to fucking whatever, like In and Out or whatever, and chow the fuck down. Like, you know what I'm saying? So we know, like,
Yeah.
we know.
Yeah, it's about the willingness to be honest with self, man. That's
All
it.
right. So then, this leads me to my next question. So
Word up.
there's a thin line, in my opinion, between accountability / remorse and guilt. Like, because what I feel like what you were talking about earlier is like where you feel like you fuck up a situation, and more often than not you try to go rectify it, and whether it's not because you're feeling bad because you fucked up something, so you want to go rectify it, but you make that right. So that's like accountability. All right,
Word.
I fucked
Word
up,
up.
but then there's guilt where it's like, oh, I ain't shit. He dying over there. I ain't shit. I'm the worst person in the world, right? That type of shit where you just totally, or somebody saying that to you, giving you that message, you're the worst person in the world. So I just think it's a thin line between that accountability where you're just really owning up to your shit. Like you said, here's my apology. It's sincere, it's genuine. Oh, fuck you. All right, well, that's cool. You gotta do you. Or or you just beating yourself down. Oh, I'm the worst person in the world. Because that's so self-defeating. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think that the big difference there is one, you know what you did and you try to act on it, and the other one, which is more the guilt aspect, is if you know it's when it's eating at you. When you haven't really made that move to be accountable or to atone for whatever it is the infraction was. And think that I think atonement can happen at any time, but guilt doesn't have to happen. You know what I'm saying? It happens. It ends once atonement is put in motion. I just, again, personally, I don't like to hang out with that feeling. I try to err on the side of just not doing fucked up shit. Like like
Let's start there.
yeah. Just that's kind of like a preemptive way to not have to feel guilt at all. But then there are impulsive type shits where you kind of lose your temper, say some shit
Yeah,
to
you say
somebody,
something, you
say
say
something
the
you
wrong
shouldn't
thing.
have said. Yeah, I done said some mean shit to some people when I was mad, but I'm the kind of person you really got to do a lot to get me mad. Like you must have done some fucked up shit because I don't walk around looking for that shit. I'm like, why are you even? You know what I'm saying? And I react badly, but still there's no excuse, right? But I'm saying that to say that like anybody can do some fucked up shit. Now if you're like excuse me, I know people that I definitely have met people and know people who like have very, very difficult time accepting responsibility for anything that they do that is not in a positive light or that's not some good shit. I mean, I know people who will like just die on the hill of like, I'll never apologize. There are people like that. I just think there are a lot of people like that. I think people like that are just like, first of all, they mad weak and like, you know, no courage, real scaredy cat type spirits, you know what I'm saying? But um ultimately that goes bad internally. That's not a situation where like that ends up good for people. I've never seen that work out. You know what I'm saying? I've never really seen a motherfucker who was just like never. Usually people just end up knowing that you're a person like that, and that's how you get looked at because that's how you act towards people. You know?
Yeah, those
Uh,
people are trash, yo. And I definitely,
yeah,
if I come into contact with somebody with that type of energy, like I'm out, yo. That's another thing. I mean, I do not have time to fuck with you, man. Like, if you come with some funny shit, like we don't have time. Life is short, man. So it's like come with some cool, positive shit or whatever. Like, you don't even have to. It's not even about make me money. Just come with some cool energy. We good, yo. We can build. We can talk. We can grow. But like, I don't have fucking time for it, yo. Like, you got
man, man, it's real. I mean, what about you know what's worse? The motherfuckers that like are like that, like they ain't gonna like atone for the fucked up shit they did. And if you're like, well, fuck you, then they somehow you wrong. You know what I'm saying? Now they mad at you because you like fuck them.
I,
That's
I
the wildest shit. That's the wildest shit in the world. Like
I'll take
how you do me dirty and now you mad that I don't like you. You know what I'm saying? Like
it's
that's the
I deal with
weirdest
that
shit
every
ever.
day. I deal. You know why?
I mean,
So
yeah,
here.
me too. I
So
used to.
well, I deal with it on a stupid level here in Pittsburgh. So here in Pittsburgh, they have this thing called the Pittsburgh left, where if you're driving down the street and another car is coming at you, and there's a light, and they're going to turn left, even though you have the right of way. In Pittsburgh, the custom is to let them go ahead, let them take the left and go ahead of you while you're going, going in the opposite direction. But what that does is that backs up traffic because, like, the you're, you let them go, then like two other cars go. Now you got a green light. I'm sitting behind niggas like, what the fuck, right? So I'm not from Pittsburgh, so I don't give that left. So when the light turns green and I'm at the beginning of the light, I don't. This nigga's ahead of me waiting to fucking turn his left. I just keep it pushing. People will stop and they'll be like, ugh. I'll be like, yo, fuck, you getting mad at me for nothing? You're not following the fucking law. Like the law, like that's some dangerous shit y'all doing, and you getting mad at me because I'm following the fucking rules.
I've never ever in my life heard of that. Thank you for that. A Pittsburgh left, huh?
They do it in Boston too, I think, but they do it here a lot, yo. Like you're expected to give the person turning left the right of way, even though you got that shit. And when you
Man,
don't, they get mad as fuck.
damn. In California, man, you gonna have to wait, and at the end, at that yellow light, there's gonna be mad motherfuckers trying to
You
make that left.
you going through that red shit, it's like four cars going through a red light
For
at the end.
yeah, for
And you
real.
gotta wait on the other end to
Yeah,
make sure you don't get clipped by them niggas.
absolutely. That's yeah. Motherfuckers is like, man, you will wait there.
That's where I fuck
You'll
with.
wait forever turning left out here. You'll just be waiting. Man, that's crazy. That's crazy, man.
So yeah,
Yeah,
but
not that
again,
that's a
getting
perfect
mad at me.
example. Like getting mad at you for following the law. Yeah. You know what that happens with out here? All right, they got these so you could turn on red out here unless there's an arrow that's a red arrow, which means you can't go until there's a green arrow. You could turn right on red. Oh, I mean you could turn right at a red light always, pretty much, except if there's an arrow that's a
Right,
colored
right.
arrow.
Yeah.
So you might be sitting waiting to turn right on that red, and all the other cars that are going straight are going this way, but the arrow's red, right, for whatever reason. So all the cars behind you could be like honking like, go, and I'm like, yo, I'm not going, no, I'm not feeling getting no ticket or hit no pedestrian because you can't see the red arrow from way back in the lane or some shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, that happens a lot. Yeah, like they want. I mean, there's times where no turn on red and they're blowing at you. I'm like, yo, motherfucker. Sometimes they be right behind me. I'm like, I just point up. I'm like, yo, I'm not turning right now. Yo, like,
Yeah.
fuck out of here, man. Like, stupid ass.
Same shit. I point up like, you know what I'm saying?
Like,
See, I'm not getting this ticket for you. But anyway, yeah, I get the point is, yeah, people like that are fucking crazy. Like literally, like you did some dirty ass shit, and because I don't like you did that, you don't like me.
Now you gonna flip it and flip it
now
on
you
me.
now oh this nigga. You know what I mean? That's some weirdo shit, man. But I
And like
mean,
start talking shit about you and everything. Like,
yeah, no, for real. No, I mean, for real, for real, for real. I mean, I could tell you some real sick stories. You know what I'm saying? Like motherfuckers and like try to frame me for shit and shit, all kind of crazy shit because they did me dirty. You know what I mean? And I'm like, fuck that dude. You know what I'm saying? For real. I cannot make this shit up. Like to the point to where motherfuckers have. I've told this story before. Motherfuckers have set up a robbery and left a note like it was me saying, like wrote a note and left it at the robbery and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, and trying to pass it off like it was actually me to the point to where like police cameras like, oh yeah, nah, there's no way this person could have did it. Granted, like I'm out the state when it happened, so whoever actually did that was real stupid. But this shit has happened. Like, and this happened because I was like, fuck them. I don't fuck with you. You a snake ass motherfucker. Fuck all y'all. And so the response was to pretend like they got robbed by me and leave a note. Like literally, bro. Like to the point to where like of course nobody believes this, right? Nobody fucking believes this. But there are people that are that fucking sick, yo. There are
damn,
literally
son.
not
That's
like
why
no
I always say
can't
animals
like
over
no
people.
cannot make this shit up. Yo,
I wish you were making it up.
cannot make this shit up, bro. And like, it's it's lightweight well known that motherfuckers try to frame a nigga. Like niggas, like the people know. You know what I'm saying? It's known. Crazy. Mm-hmm.
And then and that's the bullshit where people feel up for some reason, some strange reason, obligated to stay in those types of relationships and friendships with people, yo. Fuck
Yeah.
that. If people are out there
Fuck
doing
that
shit
shit.
like that to you, and I'm not, I'm just saying as a general, like, when people are fucked up, don't give them more opportunities to show who they are, man. You know what I'm saying? Like they're gonna show,
Yeah.
and let them be who let them rock. I've let some people rock out in group chats, and I'm like, they got a little liquor in them, and I'm like, oh, where are we? Just that's moving like this now. Filed it away, and like I see how you moving. I hadn't seen it
Yeah.
yet, but here's where it really is, though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
that's the point. When you see it like that, just candidly like that, it's almost a relief because it just kind of jars you completely out of any connection that might have had you there to begin with. The original connection that even had you in that space to where that they could even do that to you. It's like that kind of shit is like a wake up call, like a motherfucker. I'm like, oh shit, okay, all right,
right,
complete
right. Yeah,
disconnection.
no, it's
You
a
know, 100%
no, it's a good
complete
point.
disconnection. Yeah. I mean, but
100%.
I mean, thank goodness for those moments. Like
Right.
they're not very fun. They can be quite painful, but I mean they're liberating like a motherfucker, man. Like you know what I'm saying? It's like,
Oh,
I mean, liberating.
and it
Yeah.
makes it easy. I love, show me who you are. Like, show out then. Like
Yeah,
that's
that's the thing too, because like what can actually fool me is like really super good lying. You know what I'm saying? Like that super devilish, psychotic, sociopathic lying shit, to where you'll lie for mad years and shit to get your lie through. Like that's the kind of shit that's scary. Like, you know what I'm saying? Let me find out. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather know. You know what I'm saying?
that.
So
That's why I always say, like, I fuck with that grimy Mississippi racism over that fucking Northern Democrat, like, slick. We gonna do this for you, shit. Like, fuck
yeah,
out of
yeah.
here, yo.
I much
I,
rather know.
I
That's
love
one thing.
Republicans for keeping it funky, man. Like,
I was just gonna say that, man. I love. I mean, that's one of the dope things people talk about Trump all the time, man, and how horrible and this and this and that and all. He's such a racist. I'm like, listen, he just lifted the veil. This shit been like this. He just calling it how it is, and he making the motherfuckers who feel like that shit, who always feel like that, who be pussyfooting around you and shit. They all yelling it now. You could identify all of these motherfuckers undoubtedly where they stand on things and how much they hate yo ass. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
I'm like, it's not like people have started having these feelings overnight. It's not like it's just like the boldness of not having to be covert about it no more kind of had people letting it out, and I respect that way
Right.
more than I mean way more than that super ambiguous like I'm not a racist wink wink shit. You know what I mean? Hey,
Yeah, fuck that slick, because those people are too fucking spineless to admit who they really are. At least, yo, if you want to, like, come with it, yo. Like, you don't like, Good. I know where we stand. I don't gotta fuck with you. Good. I don't need to drive in your hood. Whatever. We good. I
Yeah.
know now. It's the lines are drawn. They like, I don't like you, nigga. All right, word. We cool. I don't like you either. We straight.
Yeah.
Don't be like, you cool
Yeah.
until he comes home and date my daughter, or like, I
Don't be
got
neat.
black friends too. Get the
Don't be
fuck out of
kneeling.
here.
Don't be getting on one knee in daishiki robes. You know what I'm saying? Like, the Democrats is on one knee with black power fists and daishiki robes. I mean, come on, man. That
And people
motherfucker.
eating that shit up.
People eating that, like, that's some racist shit. Like, those people want to eat you. They want to hunt you and eat you on rich people vacations. I'm telling you.
Fuck those people, yo. Yeah, those are people. They send you out and you go run out. They archery.
Yeah.
That nigga got a crossbow and you're fucking watch the nigga run.
For
Like,
real.
fuck out of here. Like,
should we bring out the drone? Yeah, I mean, yeah.
they fired missiles at your ass, nigga, from the fucking sky, nigga.
For real. I much rather know where you stand. I much rather know where you stand.
Of course. So let's, before we wrap it up, I wanted to get into, we brought it up in terms of how to manage this shit, man. So the guilt comes sometimes there's so many angles. We talked about like 20 different angles of this shit. It's like, so you brought up, like, to me, the best and most direct thing, own up to that shit. As far as just guilt, if we did something or whatever, you brought up, like, own up to that shit and try to make it right. I would say, because what I struggle with is, like I said, guilt versus accountability. Like, should I feel guilty? How bad should I feel? For how long? Da 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 da. You know what I mean? Like, how, is it really my fault?
What
I put on here just like,
what
to me, this is when you gotta check in with some people that like if you're confused about this shit.
I was just gonna say that.
Yeah, if you're confused about this shit, like, talk. I mean, spouse, friend, family, or just whatever. Like, bounce it off of somebody.
That I was just gonna say that, bro.
Oh,
like
word.
at that moment, that's when it's good to have people you could chop it with and bounce things off. I have an example of that, right? So there's this we had a hieroglyphics show this weekend, right? Out here in California, in Sacramento. And it's the first Hyro show since January 2020. So we out there, the Hyros, we're pretty excited to do it. It's for a good cause too. So it's out in the city park type, open to the public type show. So I'm there at the shit, and I'm keeping my social distancing, and I'm wearing a mask and shit. You know what I'm saying? So I'm seeing mad people I ain't seen in mad long, and I'm like, I'm not giving her, I'm giving pounds and shit, and I'm like, yo, what's up? And most people is cool with it. Some people is like, do you doing him? You know what I'm saying? That's you. But there were actually some people that were offended at me because I didn't want to give a hug or I didn't want to shake hands and shit. And I'm like, it's a pandemic out here and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's actually one dude, he came up to me like this. He was my homeboy. He came up to me like this. And I said, oh, man, nah, man, I don't do that no more. And he was like, oh, man, just walked off. You know what I'm saying? And this is like a nigga I'm cool with. And it just made me think. I was like, man, people are really uptight about how they should feel about you wanting to touch them or not. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of weird, man. I was like, that's some weirdo ass shit. You know what I'm saying? Why is whether I want to touch people or not in any way an emotional thing for anybody else but me? You know what I'm saying? And but anyway, something you said made me bring that up. What was the last? Oh, no, okay. So I was driving home from the shit, and I was talking to somebody talking to my homie on the phone about it just for the ride home, and I was like, man, like. Well, they were like, well, the rejection of them coming up to you and saying what's up to you as a friend, it was like they love you. That's your homeboy. And I was like, well, yeah, that's true. I was like, maybe I should call him later and say what's up. And then the person I was talking to, they was like, nah, don't call him and say nothing. Don't feel guilty about they shit. You know what I'm saying? Don't feel no way that they felt that way. Just understand that that's how they may have felt. But in no way should you feel like any way guilty about that at all. And I was and so what you said about talking to somebody, it cleared it up for me because I was feeling a way about it. Because at first I was like, why the fuck would they even do that old weirdo ass shit, right? That's some weak ass shit, right? And then I started thinking about it when I was talking to my homie. I was like, yo, man, you know what, like, maybe I could have just said it different or something like that. Da, 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 da. They was like, nah, dude, nah, bro. You don't feel guilty off somebody else feeling that way. Understand how they felt. And so my point was, talking to my homie about it kind of cleared it up in my head, because I was about to roll with the guilt on it and be like, yo, man, like, listen, even though you shouldn't give a fucking feeling about whether I feel like touching anybody at all during a pandemic in public at all, I'm sorry that you felt that way about me not wanting. You know what I'm saying? That's like bullshit. Why?
Yeah.
That's bullshit. You feel me? So
No, that's
that's
an important point, man, and that's heavy duty. I wanted to kind of when I brought that up, I want to kind of keep that theme throughout, like all of our builds, man. Is like when you get confused about this shit, which it is confusing, right? These are emotions and feelings. You can't really put data, quantify them, qualify them. You can't really do not tangible things. You know, it can get confusing, man. And so, yes, let's keep this theme here. Like when it does, talk to somebody and don't
yeah,
forget. Don't even just call it just reaching out, chopping it up, whatever you want to call it. It makes you feel comfortable. Just talk to somebody like be like, yo, what the fuck, yo, however language you want to put it, but it helps to get some perspective, man, because you had talked yourself through some other shit that was just not even really real, so
yeah,
perfect
man. Yeah,
example.
it's good. It's good to have. I mean, all the way back to just the whole topic of the show, mental health. It's like being able to talk to people about shit. You know what I'm saying? If you got something in your head, and having a trusted soundboard, um, whether it be friends, family, or or if it's deeper issues, and with mental health, you can have like spiritual advisor or like a therapist or whatever. Um, just having people to a safe place to bounce your thoughts off of and get proper feedback that's not really trying to tell you anything, but just trying to give you another perspective, in a place, from a perspective that's healthy for you, that has your better interests in mind. You know what I'm saying?
And honest
And
as well.
yeah, yeah, honest, not just trying to, like, pull on your coat and tell you anything. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so some people you
It-
can
it'll, t-
trust. What's up?
it'll tell you the tough things too, you know what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
that's, like, yo, you fucked up.
yeah. I think you were saying.
You was actually wrong, son. You coming to me
Yeah,
for some fucking cosign, you was wrong.
word.
Go
That's
go
important.
go fix that, B. Go
That's
fix it now.
important.
You fucked up.
I swear, I much always rather have that kind of interaction than any kind of like person just saying agreeable shit or anything that's
Of
going to,
course.
like, just gonna placate me and not have me thinking, because things may be uncomfortable. One thing I noticed when I was very young, and I think somebody may have told it to me, or maybe I just discovered it on my own, is that, like, and I've always asked this question, is like, who's running around here started that shit about somehow, like, the truth ain't supposed to be, like, usually more painful than not. You know what I'm saying? So, like, people are so avoidant of the truth. People who avoid the truth avoid it usually because some pain they want to avoid, right? But where is this myth that the truth is always supposed to be some, like, rainbow filled great joyous thing? The truth hurts more than anything most of the time. You know what I'm saying? And people say it, the truth hurts. So if we know that normally, we wouldn't be so scared of it all the time. Like,
Yeah.
when I see people just avoiding truth for, like, the smallest dumbest fucking reasons because they scared, I'm like, yo, what are you literally scared of? You know what I'm saying? So scared that you are now agreeing to be dishonest.
Yeah, I
You know what
know.
I'm saying?
It's it's,
Like,
it's
it's
wild,
so
yo.
it's crazy. Yeah, man, it's
It's,
crazy.
it's, it's wild, man. So real quick, before we get on out of here, what you got going on, man? I did see a flyer. I think it was on Tajay's page, or it might have just been a Hero Day page. The Hero Day is happening, so you
Yeah,
guys are doing some shows and stuff like that. What's going on with you?
yeah. The world's opening back up a little bit, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, the first High Road show, definitely High Road Day is coming this year. The world is. I mean, there's a lot of uncertainty out here, but we're planning as if the trend is things are opening up more, because that's what we see and that's what we feeling and that's what we putting our money on. You know what I'm saying? So, me personally, I've been working on music, working on myself. I've been cool, man. Like, since I seen you on the tour, it was good to get out. I got back here and just it was good to get out there, man. It's something about leaving home is real centering when you get back home, it refreshes. It's like a refresh button on the perspective. And so I just been riding with that. You know, my family's out here. My son's doing well. My son he been making these incredible beats, man. So I can't really I've been working on music myself. I got some projects I'm working on. I'm trying to really finish up that Pep Love A-Plus project, trying to finish mixing that. But yeah, but outside of music and all of that, music it's opening up, and that's a motherfucking livelihood. So I'm extremely happy that's bubbling up more, and the sustenance is coming back a little bit, and the ability to be out in front of our people. But more than anything, man, like I just I feel cool, man. I feel light. I feel good, man, and I feel positive, and I feel untethered. I feel focused, man, and I feel grateful more than anything. You know what I'm saying? So that's been what's up with me. What's up with you, my man, my guy? I heard there's like some kind of birthday going on over there.
Oh yeah, getting a
Is
little
it
older.
is
One
it
year.
is it yours? Your
Yes,
birthday?
me. Yeah, yeah.
Happy birthday! Happy
Thanks, thanks.
birthday, my brother. No
No,
doubt, no doubt.
no, I
Bless your life.
appreciate you.
Bless your life, man. So what
Appreciate
you
you.
got? What's the world like out there?
No, I'm just grateful, man. Grateful to see another year. Keep it moving, and just for me, man, it's about the journey these days, man. I want to. There's a lot of things I want to do and a lot of things I want to accomplish, but I tell you this, man. What I'm realizing, I don't give a fuck if I finish, B. You know what I'm saying? Like, I I, I just want to. I want to enjoy what I'm doing, like whatever it is. I want to enjoy the process. I want to enjoy the doing. Fuck it, like, and if we get to where we get to, then we get there. If we die, we die. Like, but I want to like I'm enjoying things, yo. I mean, this life ain't perfect, but solid family, solid lady. You know what I'm saying? Solid squad, friends, team. You know what I'm saying? The circle is small, so we're good, man. And we're just pushing this shit. Trying to grow this. You know, got the show with you, a show with Brother Jay. Um, we're looking at just trying to get this on some other other platforms as far as the Carrying the Culture show. We're looking at trying to maybe move our show. I got things to talk to you about. So just trying to push forward as far as this rap and all this hip hop stuff goes. That's we're trying to push, man. Merch. All of our builds are on the YouTube channel, so everybody can rock with those, and all of our shows are on there. So yeah, man, I'm just grateful, man. Solid people in my life, man. It could, as my father says a lot, it could always be worse, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm good, So,
Word.
so yeah, I had a great birthday weekend with the family and stuff. So cool, just happy to be here, man. And while I'm here, I'm gonna fucking max this motherfucker out. Like, if you're gonna let me have some life, man, and let me breathe, I'm gonna fucking go all out. Like that's why I'm here. So that's what I'm just here to max out, yo, like foot on the fucking throttle, man, and wherever the ball stops, then that's where it stops. But you can't say, yo, this motherfucker did not live his life. Like I lived this motherfucker. So,
Word up.
so
Man, salute you, my brother. Happiest of born days and solar return, my friend. It's certainly been it's an honor to know you, and it will continue to be one, my friend. You one
oh
of the
no,
you one of the good ones, and I love you, brother. Blessings to
you
you and yours.
you my man, yo. I really appreciate you, yo. You know what I'm saying?
Word.
You're one of the solid dudes in this rap shit, as I've said before numerous times. It's my friendship. It's not just about. It's beyond the music. It's not about the music. It's like I just said. You're just a good person, and I appreciate that. So yeah, I'm grateful to be your friend, and grateful that we're to grow with you and stuff like that, and to what I'm saying, keep it pushing, see projects and stuff. I got a meeting with Tajay tomorrow on the call, so I'm
Word up.
just trying to see what carrying the culture out there. So we're trying to come out there. So that's as far as for Hiro Day.
Yeah, let's
So
do it. Let's
yeah,
do it.
so I forgot. Yeah, I got a call with him tomorrow afternoon. So
Word up.
so we're gonna see. But salute to everybody joining in. We'll get this up on the YouTube. Get this to you. Get it on the podcast, and hopefully you guys got something out of it. I feel like I got something out of it. And
Absolutely.
we do this every third Monday of each month, right? So that's
Every third Monday, talking crazy.
Talking Crazy.
Yes, sir.
A-Plus, myself, Tamal. So thanks again, man. I appreciate you. We're gonna do this again, and we'll get this up. I'll tag you when we get this up.
Yes, sir. Bless up you and yours. Bless up everybody out there. Peace.
All right, salute y'all. Be good.